Hello, it's week 31 of season 4 of the Andy Griffith Show. This week's episode title is Back to Nature. Barney, what's up in Back to Nature? Well, Gunner's got one of those new gadgets on the gas pump that shuts itself off automatically when the tank is full. But it scratched the patrol car. And I say to Andy and Floyd, now when I pay a man good money to fill the gas tank, I want him back there filling it, not some gadget. And then Floyd says he don't like those new automatic shaving lather dispensers. And then Andy can hardly get a word into Ulti as Ulti walks by because he's too busy listening to his new transistor radio. And then Andy says, well, we're going to get away from all these modern conveniences when we go canting with Ulti and the boys tomorrow. And then when we meet with the boys to plan the trip, Andy talks to them first. And then I say, both the sheriff and I will be able to pass along to you our skills as woodsmen in order that you in turn can pass them on to your children and to your children's children. We're going to rough it and it's going to be good for you. And we plan to meet them at 7 o'clock the next morning. And then Gunner comes in. He says he was going to go with us, but he says now he wants to stay home and watch a Preston Foster movie on TV tomorrow night. But Andy and I convince him to change his mind. And then the hike out to the campsite tires me and Gunner out quite a bit, but later we get our energy back to sing with everybody around the campfire, and then to listen to Andy's ghost story. And afterwards, I tell the boys, now remember, boys, that was just a story. That's all it was. Nothing to be frightened about. Right, Andy?
But as I remember, you and Gomer were both pretty frightened. As evidenced by the fact that you couldn't get to sleep for quite a while. Anyway, what happens next?
And the next morning, Trey wakes up to say that Ulti is missing. His sleeping bag is here, but he isn't. And Andy goes off to look for him, and Gunner and I go off in another direction.
But then Andy finds Opie pretty quickly and brings him back to the campsite. But of course, you and Gomer don't know that yet.
So after Gunner and I can't find him, we decide to work our way back to camp. And I start going one way, and Gunner says, ain't the camp the other way? And I say, boy, it's a good thing you got me along, Gunner. You'd just go off that way, wouldn't you? And get yourself in deeper and deeper. You've got no pioneer moxie at all. Our camp happens to be that way. Come on.
And after you don't come back, the boys start saying, you all are lost. And Andy says, no, you just went out to study nature. But we can see from his face, the audience can, that he's secretly concerned.
And then Gunner says he's hungry, and he wants me to make some of that food off the land that I always talk about. So I make a snare for a pheasant. And then Gunner wants me to make a fire by rubbing 2 sticks together. And then he says, isn't this the same tree where we were before? He thinks we're going in circles and that we're lost. And I say, Gunner, this is not the same tree, and we are not lost. I stake all that I know about the woods on the fact that we had never come this way before. Now you keep an eye on the snare, and I'll get a fire started.
But Andy finds Gomer while Gomer's looking at the snare, and he tells him not to tell you that he's here. And Andy gives him some match heads to put in your fire maker, and Gomer does that while you're not looking. And just as you're about to admit to Gomer that you are lost, Gomer has you try your fire maker again, and you do, and the fire comes up. And then when you go to get some firewood, Andy brings Gomer a bird to hold over the fire, which was actually the roast chicken that Aunt Bee had sent.
And I see it, and I say, you mean that snare worked? Yeah, it did work. We caught us a bird. The land is feeding us, just like I said. It seemed to have cooked up awful fast, though. Oh, well, that's easy to understand. Any fire started pioneer style is bound to be hotter than a fire started from just ordinary matches. And then we hear a lake loon, so we follow the sound back to camp, and all of the boys cheer. And then Ulti apologizes for making me have to come look for him, and I say, oh, heck, that's all right. It just gave me a chance to get reacquainted with nature. And then Gunner tells the story of how I built a snare and a fire, and I say, boys, if you learn to communicate with nature and to develop the pioneer moxie, you will find that it builds a self-reliance that will be helpful to you later on in every walk of life.
Of course, that late loon call was just another thing that Andy and Gomer had set up, but that's okay. It turned all right in the end. We'll see you all next week for episode 32, which will be the last episode of season 4. Thanks for watching.